All right, the Gorn is here. Star Trek original series. I've been watching them again. This one is Arena, and it's about the Gorn. I didn't know this was what was going to happen, but yeah, of course I remember the Gorn. I didn't remember all the context, so it's kind of a fun rewatch. Let's talk about it right now. All right, I am Pops, and yes, I'm in rewatching Star Trek original series. This week is Arena, and yeah, this was a lot of fun. This was my kind of Trek. This is the kind of Trek that I remember. I remember probably about 60 to 80% of this. I didn't really remember the reason they were brought together. So the early part of the episode with the sequences that are about to watch and kind of play out here, where there's like they're off to Cestus 3. They've picked up on a little signal. They're going to beam down, put together a little party, and basically it's an old mall, an old backlot. It's old whatever. I was a little confused. Like, I don't think did they ever really resolve who and why the message was sent? Like it was the duplicitous, hey, we need your help kind of thing, instead of an actual SOS at the outpost. But I loved all this. I love the fact that it picks up very quickly with sort of like injured and they're under attack. There's mortar. They're using little strategies and efforts to not get anywhere. And I have to admit, these shots where you're seeing like these explosions and stuff go off, was it me or is this possibly one of the episodes? Because didn't Shatner and Nimoy actually get hurt at one point or have some sort of like what's it called, tinnitus or being too close to like an explosion or something like that? I don't know if this was this episode, but man, some of these shots were like super good. Like I got to be honest, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's silly in some ways. Like, look at that. He was so close to where that went off. Like, holy cow, that was crazy. Okay, serpentine, serpentine. Like that's what was happening in my head. Like, run, Jim, run, dodge, dip, dive. There's another ship. Sulu's driving the ship. I thought it was actually just all really good setup stuff for them doing this and then trying to come up with their plan for the mortar. Um, I just thought this was just fun. Look at he knew what he's going to do. He does his run. He's got it. Then his explosion goes off. First one, now the second one, and he kind of rolls. That one wasn't nearly as close as what Shatner's was, but it was pretty good. We do finally get them back up on the ship. They're doing recovery with the person that survived the attack down there, but there is the alien vessel, and they're going to basically be in pursuit. So the cat and mouse stuff was kind of how we spent the planet stuff gets us here to this is the 11-minute mark according to my thing, and then we have sort of like a little bit of just mystery of what's actually going on, what are they up against, and everyone sort of has a role to play and sort of like the cat and mouse, and Jim is really just irrationally following, like, no, go to warp 7, keep going, we're going to burn up the ship, Jim, it's okay, we're going to go after them. So I loved all this. Thought it was fine. This is sort of that Wrath of Khan feel for me, that sort of overzealous space maneuvering and Captain Dog and cat and mouse games and stuff like that. I just loved all of this. So the special effect I thought was a little, yeah, before this is kind of we figure out that there's someone else who's sort of like out there. And this is where the episode takes a major twist. I didn't remember any of this. Basically, this entity has stopped both the alien ship, the Gorn ship, and the Enterprise, and says, "Hey, listen, we need a representative, a captain from both vessels to go down to this planet, this neutral territory. You'll be able to make weapons. You'll fight it out. You'll duke it out, and that will be the decision for the fate of each side. There will be all of this space maneuvering, will be loss of massive life, which is kind of contradictory to what they basically said what the judgment was. But hey, okay, it is what it is. So this being this, they're called metrons. I had to make sure I had that right. So I don't usually look things up. For those of you who are asking about my experience in rewatching, I try to be as green as I possibly can based on that. But I had to know like who's this person? Who is this being? So they're called Metrons. They show up at the very, very end of the episode. We'll try to make sure I get that shot. But it was a satisfactory thing. But of course, once they get here, oh yeah, now I remember this episode. Now I remember what's going on. So the first part of the episode is him just going, you know, trying to go ham on this guy, man. Like just trying to like just punch him here, punch him there. I thought it was kind of a weird mask with the weird metal like grommets on the side of his head. I thought that was kind of a weird design. And I thought even with masks of that era, I thought the teeth and stuff really looked bad. And I think it's because they're just too clean and everything just seemed very generic and plasticky. but it's just not. It's not awful. He just moves in slow motion though. I didn't remember that. Look at Shatner's just standing there waiting for him to pick up this rock and throw it at him. I will say I thought this was kind of weird because I don't understand why Shatner, like Kirk, didn't know that what he was saying was going to be heard by the alien. It was clearly explained that it was a translator, not he's treating it like captain's log, like he's just documenting information instead of actually using like a translator. So he's always telling the enemy more information than the enemy needed to know. So if there was any twist, I think I kind of chalked that up a little bit of just the overzealous nature of Kirk in this episode. It's kind of like one of these things where you have to see the trial by combat play out for Kirk as sort of a byproduct of being overzealous and heading into battle earlier on, and then later is going to come to a head as they kind of just continue to fight to the death. Nothing is working out well for any party. Kirk almost gets the victory here, traps him briefly. There's an injury on both sides, so things like that kind of play out. And then, of course, Kirk is figuring out there's different substances here on the planet that he can use to create weaponry. And then the Metrons basically let the Enterprise have their video surveillance, which I think is just this interesting, clever way to involve the crew. Like it's not just totally about Kirk and the Gorn on the planet. Where presumably the Gorn are watching too, which I thought was interesting. So he's figuring things out. He's making his booby traps. He's doing all of this stuff. He's created his own little mortar, which is kind of like the tie-in to the earlier portion of the episode. He gets the upper hand. It just keeps going. He gets the upper hand and then just says, "Nope, I won't do it." And then we got this effeminate boy, the Metron. I was like, wait, what? Totally forgot the Metron. Did not know who this little dancer is. I was like, what? Wait, what? And then, of course, as I'm, trying to find images for a thumbnail, whatever, this image, this Metron kid kept coming up. So, yeah, it's fine. But again, this is the great sort of messaging of Trek that other sci-fi is kind of built around off Trek's legacy. Anti-war, anti-violence, sanctity of life, those kinds of things. Because everything kind of returns to normal and, the Enterprise can go on its merry way. So all in all, I mean, I love this. This is my kind of Trek, right? I love fun Trek. I love battle. I love combat. I love that. I'm totally cool with it being this allegory against war and conflict and death. And it would take some crazy, weird, effeminate alien race to help show that and illustrate that, then fine. I mean, this was fun for me. This is literally going to be one of those that I will always remember because of the Gorn. It's the Gorn. It's the first introduction of this, alien creature that is thought of as not being intelligent or able to hold its own, but it's super strong. And Kirk finds a way to win, but then like saves its life. And it's sort of like the principles of the Federation and what they're really supposed to be doing. And you never really know if you would be able to trust the Gorn moving forward or not because of the lack of what's perceived as the lack of intellectual capacity. Wait, I'm not even sure we know that. I mean, they have a spaceship; it's as fast as the Enterprise, so they have some sort of capacity. So there is a contradiction there, but at the same time, does that put them in the same category with the Romulans who we've seen? We know I got the Klingons yet, but think like other alien species that puts them. So you end up in the Gorn area of the universe, and so yeah, so be it. So. Well, but all in all, this was a fun one for me. I enjoyed this one a lot. Next one I think is alternative factor. So that'll be the next up. Hope you're enjoying these. Love your comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me little trivias and nuggets that you guys know that I don't know. This has really been a lot of fun for me. I really think that Gorn has sort of transcended into the regular lexicon of the country, not just sci-fi people. I think most people know about a Gorn. That's just my thoughts. But anyway, take it from me or not. That's my theory. That's my talk. I appreciate you guys watching. I am Pops.
You keep getting me killed. I thought you had my back. Oh, not again. Captain, hold on just a minute. Okay. No, we're both too old for this kind of thing.
Star Trek, the video game.
All right, now you're overacting.